Archangel Michael says, a man who once loved you is being spiritually pulled back to you, but another force is trying to block this. You only have 5 minutes to act. Open now. There are moments in the spiritual realm when time collapses and eternity leans close to whisper something sacred. This is one of those moments. Archangel Michael is standing right now at the veil between dimensions with a message that cannot wait another breath. A man who once loved you deeply, who once carried your soul in the quiet spaces of his heart, is being drawn back toward you with a force even he does not fully understand. But another energy, a dark, resistant presence, is doing everything in its power to prevent the reunion of two souls that were once divinely entangled. The connection between you and this man was never random. Heaven had its hands all over it. But somewhere along the path, something interfered. Something subtle, yet persistent. Perhaps it was heartbreak, miscommunication, pride, or even outside influence. But beneath the pain, the ties never truly severed. In the spirit realm, the cord between you and him is still blowing. Archangel Michael is revealing that this glow has recently intensified. A man is sensing it. He's feeling an ache in his chest he can't explain. He's dreaming about you, hearing your name, being reminded of you in strange, unshakable ways. But here is the danger. Just as the divine realm is working to realign your paths, another force is working just as hard to block it. This is not simply about love, it's about destiny, healing, completion. There is a reason this message had to find you now. The timing is not symbolic. You truly have minutes, not days, to respond in the spirit. The opposing force is counting on your hesitation, your disbelief, your exhaustion. But Archangel Michael says if you move in spiritual agreement right now, that blockage will begin to shatter. If you don't, the connection may be sealed off for a long time, if not permanently. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. This script will guide you step by step through divine truth, spiritual instruction, and prophetic revelation. Each part is encoded with light, and the angels are standing by with their scrolls ready. They are watching you closely now, for you are not just hearing a message, you are being weighed in the spirit. You are being watched to see if you will respond. Will you act within the next 5 minutes and unlock what heaven has held back just for this exact moment in time? Now breathe deeply and keep reading. Everything is about to change. Before his name faded from your mouth, it was written across your spirit like ink from heaven's pen. Before his eyes turned away, your souls had already touched in realms deeper than physical time. This is why, even now, even after distance and silence, the thread remains. Archangel Michael has shown that this thread is not ordinary. It is laced with divine purpose. But recently, that thread has begun to strain. Forces of delay, spiritual interference, and confusion have been wrapping around it like thorns, trying to sever what was once destined to reconnect. He has tried to move on. You've tried to forget. Yet heaven did not allow the closing of the gate. Not fully. Every time he smiles at someone new, a part of him wonders why it doesn't feel the same. Every time you try to rebuild with another, your heart aches without explanation. This is not accident. This is prophecy under tension. And now, Archangel Michael is showing that the tension is reaching a climax. The angels are watching, some standing in formation, others assigned to both of you, waiting for a signal that you are ready to receive the alignment that has waited long enough. But herein lies the resistance. There is a spirit whose sole purpose is to block this reunion. It was assigned to him during a season of vulnerability, when his love for you was pure but his mind was clouded. That spirit used people, distractions, even moments of trauma to pull him away from you. And it was almost successful. Almost. But something is stirring again. His soul has started to whisper your name in prayer, even if he doesn't realize it. And you, too, have felt a restlessness that can't be explained. That is the confirmation. This message is not about fantasy. It's about a very real spiritual movement happening beneath your everyday awareness. I'm anointed to get blessing 6523. Archangel Michael has sounded the trumpet to wake you up. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. You must understand the stakes. This reconnection is not just about romance. It is about something much greater. It's about a spiritual contract that was made in the unseen, long before pain fractured your visible world. Together, the two of you carry an assignment. Separately, you are still powerful. But together, you shift atmospheres. That's what the darkness fears. That's why it's fighting. You not mistake your silence for absence. He is thinking of you. He is being spiritually tugged. But the interference he faces is strong. He feels pressure, confusion, guilt. And so do you. The enemy is trying to mirror your pain to keep you passive. That's why Archangel Michael says, act now. Speak the blessing. Declare your openness. Make yourself available to divine intervention. Because your agreement is needed to tip the scale. I am chosen to get blessing 7781. Heaven responds to bold obedience. You don't need to chase the man. You need to activate the energy that clears the path. When you do that, angels go before you. They whisper into his dreams. They untangle spiritual knots. They pierce confusion. They soften hearts. But they cannot move until you permit them with faith. The Spirit says, don't wait for him to call. Call forth the angel assigned to him. Don't wait for him to knock. Open the gate in prayer. This message is your activation key. And now the countdown has begun. 5 minutes and the Spirit can shift 5 years of delay. Will you let heaven work through your surrender? The war over this man's soul is not just emotional. It's spiritual. Archangel Michael has revealed that every time his heart begins to open again toward you, something interferes. Not by chance, not by coincidence, but by design. There is a force working behind the scenes to keep him bound in confusion, regret, and fear. This force is ancient, strategic, and manipulative. It uses his weaknesses to keep him disconnected. It reminds him of his past failures. It plays illusions in his mind that tell him you've moved on, that you're better off without him. And the longer he believes those lies, the tighter its grip becomes. But here's what the enemy did not expect: your discernment, your sensitivity, your ability to feel shifts in the spirit even before they manifest in the physical world. You've been sensing this man's energy for weeks now, maybe even months. You've heard songs that remind you of him, had dreams with his face in them, and felt moments of sudden emotion that made no sense. That's not nostalgia. That's a divine signal. Archangel Michael says those are angelic nudges, whispering, prepare. He's being pulled toward you. And yet the clock is ticking. Heaven has opened the window, but it will not stay open forever. This is your moment to act, not with desperation, but with divine authority. Your power isn't in chasing him physically. It's in activating the angels assigned to your union. Archangel Michael is urging you now to stand as an intercessor. You must war in the spirit for him, because right now, he cannot fully war for himself. His clarity is clouded. His emotions are scattered. His faith is weak. But your voice has the power to break chains around his mind. Your words, when aligned with heaven, become a sword. You are not powerless. You are appointed. I am appointed to get the blessing 8217. This connection was not built on lust or fantasy. It was rooted in something eternal. When your paths first crossed, something ancient awakened. You may not have had the language for it then, but deep down, you felt it. The familiarity, the unexplainable draw, the way he made your soul rest, even in chaos. That wasn't attraction alone. That was memory, spiritual memory. Because your souls have met before, in dreams, in visions, in lifetimes, and assignments you don't fully understand yet. Archangel Michael calls it a sacred intertwining. And the enemy saw it too. That's why the opposition was so fast and so fierce. But now, there's a stirring in the heavens, a shifting in the atmosphere. The angels are aligning scrolls, preparing interventions, organizing divine appointments. This is not symbolic language. This is literal prophetic movement. The divine is preparing for the possibility of reunion. But heaven always waits for human agreement. Your will matters. Your voice matters. Your belief matters. If you respond in faith, the angels will move instantly. If you hesitate, the dark force may reinforce its position and delay the breakthrough further. I am awakened to get blessing 7342. Archangel Michael is asking you not just to believe, but to command. Declare aloud, I release every interference. I reclaim every blessing. I break every curse against divine union. Speak these words not once but daily. Your spiritual authority is higher than you've been taught. You don't need to beg. You need to align. When you step into that alignment, you become a portal of restoration. And when you open that portal, heaven rushes through it like a flood. You are not waiting for a man. You are summoning destiny. You are not yearning for closure. You are summoning fulfillment. This man is being drawn toward you right now. His soul is looking for permission to believe again. Give it to him by rising in the Spirit. The next part of this journey is where the veil thins even more, where prophetic instructions become practical steps. Stay open. Stay bold. The sacred moment is unfolding. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. There is a spirit that has studied you. It knows your rhythm, your tendencies, your pain points. It has followed you from season to season, not because you are weak, but because you are chosen. Archangel Michael reveals that this spirit was not assigned just to him, but also to you. Its mission is to create misalignment, divine timing delayed by emotional sabotage. Every time your heart begins to soften, it whispers fear. Every time you consider hope, it reminds you of betrayal. It is so patient and dangerously familiar. But the Spirit of God says now is the time to unmask this interference. His spirit thrives in confusion. It waits for moments of spiritual fatigue, those days when you're too tired to pray, too hurt to believe, too skeptical to trust again. It speaks in your voice, convincing you that you're protecting yourself, when really, you're being led away from your promise. Archangel Michael calls it the spirit of deflection, and deflects clarity with chaos, deflects union with distraction, deflects divine reconnection with counterfeit opportunities. And when it senses that the original connection is reigniting in the spiritual realm, it intensifies its attack. That's why lately you may have experienced unexpected emotional lows, sudden anxiety, random conflict with people you care about, or vivid dreams of rejection or abandonment. These are not coincidences. They are coordinated attacks disguised as ordinary life. The interference spirit is desperately trying to hold the gate shut. It is terrified of what will happen if you and this man reconnect under God's timing and light. Because when you do, the very foundations of the opposition's plans in your life will crumble. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7924. The angelic realm has been battling behind the scenes. Archangel Michael had been standing between you and spiritual sabotage. There were moments you didn't even know you were under attack, and yet your spirit still pressed forward. That is why you're reading this now. This is not just a message. It is a rescue mission. The man being pulled back to you is on the verge of an awakening, but he is surrounded by confusion. Your role in this moment is not passive. It is active, fierce, and holy. You must speak. You must rise. You must reject every lie the enemy has planted in your memory. Call out the interference spirit by name. Say aloud, I see you, and I cancel you. You will not have access to my mind, my heart, or my alignment. I command you to flee in the name of Yeshua, under the authority of heaven's army. When you say it with boldness. Say it until your atmosphere shifts. Because it will. Light always exposes darkness. And once exposed, it loses its grip. Type I am victorious to get blessing 8680. This man has also been fighting battles you cannot see. He's been entangled in responsibilities, guilt, and the opinions of others. But underneath all of it, he feels you. Not just your memory, your essence, your prayers, your pull. He may not understand it, but it haunts him in a sacred way. Archangel Michael says he still carries spiritual residue from your touch. The anointing you shared left an imprint. And now that divine magnetism is reactivating. But if you do not rise in this moment and tear down the remaining walls in prayer and alignment, the enemy will do everything in its power to make sure he never reaches you. You are the key. You have always been. Not because you are chasing him, but because heaven entrusted you with the vision of what's possible. And those who carry vision must also carry war. But fear not. The angels are with you. The fire is rising. The enemy is trembling. Your destiny is awakening. Something within him has already shifted, even if he doesn't know how to put it into words. The same man who once hardened his heart to avoid feeling too much is now being spiritually poked, prodded, and provoked in dreams, visions, and sudden inner restlessness. Archangel Michael has shown that his spiritual eyes are beginning to crack open, not completely, but just enough to notice the void. A void that not even success, distractions, or other people can fill. That void has your imprint. He doesn't say your name aloud, but your essence lives quietly in the sacred chambers of his mind. He is remembering things he thought were buried. The way you made him feel seen. The way your energy made him feel safe even in his silence. The way your presence was never loud, but always deep. The spirit is tugging at those memories, resurfacing them not for torment, but for awakening. This is how heaven works when it's time to realign, through reminders, symbols, scents, songs, signs. The divine whispers to his spirit in ways he cannot ignore, and it makes him restless, not anxious, but spiritually discontent. A kind of soul stirring that makes a man stop and ask, "What am I missing?" You are what he's missing. Not in a romanticized sense, but in a divine one. There is a part of him that never fully detached because heaven didn't allow it. And now that part is being activated again. But this time, it's deeper. This time, it's not about fleeting feelings, it's about purpose. And that's what makes it dangerous to the forces that oppose it. The moment he wakes up and realizes that you were not just a chapter, but a covenant, those forces lose their grip. But he needs your spiritual agreement to find his way through the fog. Type "I am restored" to get the blessing 9466. Right now, the veil between your two energies is thinner than it has ever been since the moment you separated. Archangel Michael warns that this is a rare window. What he feels now, if not confirmed through your prayers and alignment, could slip back into silence. The opposition wants that. It wants him to grow busy again, distracted again, entangled again. But you can stop that spiral by lifting your voice, by fasting, by speaking his name into the light, by asking God to guide his feet, soften his heart, and flood his path with unmistakable truth. The angels are already surrounding him. One stands behind his shoulder whispering peace. Another hovers above his dreams pouring light into shadowed corners. Another guards his heart against counterfeit connection. They are working, but their work must be met with your faith. This man is feeling your energy. He is being softened by it. And if you maintain your alignment, he will soon feel something stronger. Courage. Courage to reach out. Courage to apologize. Courage to return. Type "I am renewed" to get blessing 7299. You may not see the results instantly. That's not how the Spirit always works. But signs will follow. You may get a dream, a sudden remembrance, a divine encounter. Stay alert. Do not dismiss them. Write them down. Pray into them. Heaven is moving fast now, but it is moving in layers. Each moment of spiritual obedience peels back resistance and builds momentum. You must believe without seeing, because belief is the currency that opens spiritual portals. And once that portal is open, the restoration can flow freely. This man is on his way, spiritually, emotionally, and eventually physically. But your faith must be the compass that guides his wandering spirit back to you. Let your prayers become a lighthouse in his night. Because even when he doesn't know where to turn, heaven will steer him through the light you carry. In the spiritual realm, portals do not stay open forever. They are windows, brief, sacred openings through which divine restoration flows. Right now, that portal is open between you and the man who once loved you. But Archangel Michael warns, this is not a portal of fantasy or nostalgia. This is a portal of fulfillment. A covenant that was never completed is being reactivated, and heaven is urgently watching to see if you will step into this moment with full authority. Because if you hesitate, that portal will begin to close, and what is meant to return to you may wander away again. Heaven has aligned divine timing in your favor. Certain delays that would have blocked him from feeling you again have been lifted. Demonic assignments that kept his heart numb have been weakened. He is more spiritually accessible now than he has been in years. But accessibility does not mean permanence. If you do not step into the flow of this moment, the alignment can dissipate. Archangel Michael calls this the hour of awakening. You must move, speak, decree, and align with speed. You are not chasing him. You are activating heaven's desire to reunite what was once torn by warfare. This is not emotional recklessness. This is divine recall. The kind of spiritual moment when God reopens a file he once closed, because your faith made him revisit it. The man who once held your heart is not just a memory. He is a carrier of something you need, and you are the carrier of something he has forgotten. When you were together, you may not have had the spiritual maturity to protect the covenant. But now, the angels say, you are more ready than you think. You are not perfect, but you are purified through experience, heartbreak, and transformation. Type I am aligned to get the blessing 7532. You must pray with focus, not desperation. Focus. Say his name. Say it with authority, not out of obsession, but out of spiritual command. Declare, let the path between us be cleared. Let his eyes see what heaven sees. Let his ears hear what was buried beneath noise. Let our connection come under God's perfect timing, not emotion. When you speak these words daily, you are charging the portal. You are making yourself a magnet for alignment, not manipulation. And heaven honors that. When your intentions are pure, your words have the power to pierce through strongholds. Archangel Michael reveals that this man is beginning to feel like he's forgotten something important. He cannot put his finger on it. He just feels like something is missing. That's your signal. That's the evidence. The angels are already tapping on his soul, waking up memories that are tied to your spirit. If you respond now, that sense of longing will increase until he is led back to your door, either through message, visitation, or even divine encounter. But if you dismiss it, the enemy may flood his path with distractions again, and the moment could pass. Type I am open to get blessing 8440. There's power in surrender, but greater power in spiritual instruction. You are not being told to beg. You are being called to believe. Speak light. Bind delay. Lose clarity. Align your energy. Watch your dreams. Pay attention to small signs, his name appearing, old pictures resurfacing, old places calling you. These are not accidents. These are angelic breadcrumbs. Follow them. Pray through them. Let them guide you into deeper faith. The next few days will be filled with spiritual clues. Keep your eyes and heart open, and heaven will confirm what your spirit already knows. You are on sacred ground now. Treat it as such. This reconnection is not just about unfinished romance, it's about unfinished assignment. Archangel Michael is revealing a truth you may not have considered yet. You and this man share a sacred contract in the spirit realm. Long before your paths met in the physical world, they were intertwined in the divine. You were not just two people drawn together by emotion. You were two souls sent to activate something for heaven. When you were together, you both felt it, even if neither of you could explain it. A strange sense of meaning. A powerful connection that felt bigger than the two of you. That's because it was. Your relationship was meant to unlock doors for both of you. Spiritual doors, emotional doors, even generational doors. But the enemy saw your potential and planted landmines. Misunderstanding, outside interference, delays, spiritual confusion. The devil did attack you because you were weak. He attacked because your connection was too strong. Together, you formed a frequency that shook the dark realm. It couldn't allow that. So the enemy severed you not with one sharp cut, but with slow erosion. Little by little, he pulled you apart. But heaven never tore the contract. It remained suspended, waiting for a time like this. That time is now. The clock is almost out. And if you understand the nature of your assignment, you will understand why your obedience in this season is critical. Reuniting with this man, if guided by divine wisdom, will not simply satisfy your heart. It will realign your path. His presence will unlock dormant spiritual gifts in you. Your voice will restore lost courage in him. You are each other's mirror, but also each other's gate. One cannot walk through destiny fully without the other completing the spiritual circle. That is why the angels are crying out now for your attention. Type I am chosen for purpose to get the blessing 8808. This man may not know the full weight of what he feels. He might just sense something pulling him, something right about reconnecting. That's because he's not carrying the full prophetic understanding. You are. You're the one reading this. You're the one receiving this divine scroll. That's because God trusts your maturity. He trusts that you won't misuse the power. He knows your heart has been humbled. He knows that you will follow his lead. That's why the spiritual burden to pray, to intercede, to act, is on you. Not forever, but for now. When he comes back into your life, whether through a call, a message, or a chance meeting, you will have a decision to make. Not a decision based on emotions, but on destiny. You not get swept away by memories. Anchor yourself in clarity. Ask God why now. What are you trying to do through this? And listen. You will hear. The angels will confirm. Archangel Michael is already preparing to place signs in your path to guide your next steps. But you must promise heaven that you won't respond casually. This isn't just any man. This is the man tied to your assignment. I'm aligned to destiny to get blessing 9173. The next 24 to 48 hours are going to carry divine weight. Be sensitive to urges in your spirit to reach out, to pray over old photos, to revisit a conversation in your mind. These are not distractions. They are activations. What you do now sends a ripple into the next season of your life. If you respond well, heaven will push doors open you thought were closed forever. This is more than restoration. This is relaunching. A relaunch of purpose, of unity, of divine timing made visible. You are standing at the spiritual threshold of something enormous. Do not walk away from it. The heavens are roaring. The angels are ready. Your assignment is waking up. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. The angels have been dispatched. The scroll has been unsealed. Archangel Michael is sounding what may be the final trumpet over this situation. Heaven is crying out not in anger, but in urgency. The man who once loved you is standing at a spiritual crossroads, and so are you. The portal between your two lives is still open, but not for long. The interference spirit knows this too. That's why it has been intensifying distractions, throwing shadows into your thoughts, planting fear into your hope. Because if it can stall you just a little longer, the window may close. Archangel Michael says plainly, this is your hour of decision. If you wait too long, if you delay too much longer, the divine alignment will shift into a different configuration. That doesn't mean you will never love again, but it means the man heaven appointed to finish this assignment with you may not reach you in this cycle. Heaven works in seasons, and while God's love is eternal, His instructions move with time. You are being asked to respond within the divine calendar, not your comfort, because your obedience now does not just affect you. It affects your lineage, your emotional healing, and the sacred legacy your soul was designed to carry. The man being pulled back to you is feeling the tug. He is confused, but the confusion is proof that light is breaking through. The enemy never confuses what is already destroyed. It only targets what is close to freedom. And this man is dangerously close to realizing that you were the one his spirit never let go of. That realization would cause a wave of repentance, clarity, and reconnection. And the forces of darkness are terrified of that. They are trying to rush in one last time. Archangel Michael says, "Do not let them win." Type "I am ready now" to get the blessing 7651. You may be asking, what can I do now? The answer is this: activate prophetic alignment. Fast for 3 days. Pray His name for 7 minutes every night. Speak aloud declarations that cancel interference and summon divine timing. Anoint your home, your bed, your door. Play worship music and speak His name in the presence of God. Ask the Holy Spirit to release ministering angels to His home, even if you don't know where He is. These are not just acts of devotion. They are acts of war. Every time you do them, heaven records it. Every act of obedience becomes spiritual evidence that you are aligned and ready. Let your spirit rise in authority. You are not the broken, abandoned version of yourself anymore. You are a spiritual gatekeeper, a woman clothed in divine strategy, a daughter of prophecy. What you speak into the atmosphere will shape what happens next. If you speak defeat, delay will follow. If you speak breakthrough, heaven will roar in agreement. This is your chance to command the shift. Speak these words aloud now. I call forth every angel assigned to this divine union. I silence the tongue of interference. I sanctify the space between us. I declare the holy connection be made whole again. Type "I am commending heaven to get blessing 9090. You are not alone in this. Even now, as you read these words, angelic forces are surrounding you. They are drawing closer, waiting your next move. The man who once loved you is being spiritually shaken. Something within him is starting to rise again. Old prayers he prayed, old promises he whispered when he was still close to the light. Those prayers are echoing now. Heaven has forgotten them. You are part of their fulfillment. But you must be bold enough to meet the moment with action. This is the pitch of your soul's timeline, the summit of divine opportunity. And the trumpet is being sounded with increasing volume. Do not ignore it. Do not assume there will be another reminder. Archangel Michael says this is it. The next 7 days will define the next 7 years. This is the magnitude of the moment. Rise to meet it. Step into alignment. Act without fear. Because the reunion is not about reliving the past. It's about unlocking the future. Heaven is watching. Now is the time to respond. The angels are ready, but they will not force their way through resistance. Divine intervention does not override free will, it partners with faith. Archangel Michael is revealing that there are spiritual keys in your possession right now that will determine what happens next. These are not mystical relics or ancient artifacts. They are invisible, powerful tools hidden in your words, your prayers, your actions, and your alignment. You have the power to activate a sequence of events that bring this man back, not by control, but by command rooted in love and obedience. The first key is consistency. Many people pray once and walk away discouraged when they don't see instant results. But Archangel Michael says consistency in prayer is what weakens demonic scaffolding. The spirits that have blocked this man from reaching you thrive on your silence. Every day you fail to speak life into the reconnection, they grow stronger. But when you begin to release declarations morning and night, statements like "you will hear heaven's call," he will remember the truth. He will walk back into light. You begin to unravel the cords of delay wrapped around his soul. The second key is intentionality. God is not moved by vague requests. Heaven operates on specificity. Begin speaking targeted prayers. Mention his full name. Ask God to illuminate his mind at 3:00 a.m. when dreams are most potent. Pray that divine discontent will shake him awake, reminding him of what was lost. Ask that his emotions be exposed to truth, that no counterfeit relationship will bring him peace. You must pray with surgical precision, not scattered desperation. That is how heaven knows you are serious, and the angels respond accordingly. Type "I am holding the key" to get the blessing 8882. The third key is alignment. You must prepare as if his return is certain. Begin clearing space in your energy. Remove bitterness. Remove sarcasm. Remove spiritual clutter. Prepare your home, your heart, and your mind for reconnection. Speak to yourself as if you're preparing for royalty, not for drama. Ask yourself, am I emotionally ready to steward the weight of the return? Am I spiritually prepared to cover him in prayer, support him in transition, and protect the connection from outside noise? This is not about being perfect. It's about being positioned. Archangel Michael reminds you that restoration is never accidental. It is always orchestrated. Right now, angels are holding back distractions from both your lives. They are softening hearts. They are guarding your digital spaces. They are rerouting people who would cause confusion. All of this movement is happening because heaven is invested in this reunion. But the energy of delay feeds on your passivity. The moment you go silent, the enemy rebuilds. The moment you shift your focus in doubt, darkness regains ground. Stay consistent. Stay sharp. Stay prepared. You are closer than you think. Type "I am spiritually prepared" to get blessing 7945. There is one more key, and it is the hardest. Forgiveness. You cannot bring this man back through divine alignment if your heart is still carrying residue. Even if he wronged you, even if he ghosted you, even if he hurt you in ways he never fully understood, holding on to pain is like locking the door of your own house and asking God to enter anyway. Release it, not for his sake, but for yours. Speak aloud, "I forgive him. I forgive what he didn't say. I forgive what I didn't understand. I release the weight so I can hold the blessing." When you do this, something will break in the spirit. You will feel it. This man is being summoned back to you by divine design, not human desperation. But your alignment is the beacon he needs. Without it, he may never find his way through the fog. But with it he will see clearly. And when he does, he will know, she never gave up on me. She called me back with heaven's voice. You are now holding the blueprint. Use it. You may not see it with your natural eyes yet, but signs are already unfolding. Archangel Michael declares that prophetic confirmations have begun swirling in your atmosphere. The realm of heaven is echoing your obedience with divine encounters that are meant to guide and affirm you. These confirmations are not always grand or theatrical. They often come as whispers, nudges, dreams, moments of unexplainable emotion, or repeated symbols. Do not brush them off. The veil is thin now, and God is speaking. The more sensitive you become to these signs, the more quickly restoration will manifest. Have you noticed certain numbers appearing repeatedly? Perhaps 1111, 555, or even his birthday flashing on a screen or clock. These are not coincidences. They are timestamps of alignment. Angelic numbers are one of the languages of the Spirit. When they appear in connection with memories of Him, they are heaven's way of saying, the path is opening. Have you heard His name spoken randomly? Felt sudden pressure in your chest while thinking of Him? Dreamt of places you both shared? These are prophetic clues, threads in the tapestry of reconnection. Sometimes heaven will send someone who reminds you of Him, His tone, His smile, even His scent. This is not to cause confusion, but to reignite clarity. You may stumble across old pictures, gifts, or places that stir something sacred inside of you. Do not dismiss these as accidents. These are orchestrated encounters. Heaven is gently showing you that the past was not random, and the future is not lost. Archangel Michael is asking you now to journal these moments. Write them down. Pray over them. They are your evidence that the spiritual activity is intensifying. Type I am seeing the signs to get the blessing 8720. This man is also beginning to receive these confirmations, even if he doesn't fully recognize them. He may have dreamt of you recently and woken up with a feeling he can't explain. He may have heard your favorite song on repeat in unexpected places. His spirit is stirring. The angels assigned to him are planting reminders, wakening dormant memories, and piercing the silence with sacred hints. He may not realize it yet, but every encounter is bringing him closer to the moment of revelation, that he is still spiritually bound to you. You may feel the urge to reach out to him, but Archangel Michael advises, wait on divine timing. Let the signs lead you, not your emotions. If the Spirit gives you a word to release, do it with grace and wisdom. But do not force open a door heaven is still preparing. Instead, ask God to speak to him directly. Pray that the veil over his heart is lifted. Declare that every voice of confusion be silenced. Speak aloud. He will recognize what heaven is revealing. He will respond to the light. He will remember the covenant buried beneath pain. Type I am following the signs to get blessing 9386. Some signs may be tests. You may run into a past flame, a temporary distraction, or someone who looks like a better option. Be careful. The enemy often sends counterfeit blessings right before the real one returns. Don't be seduced by convenience. Wait for confirmation. If a door opens but does not carry peace, do not enter it. Ask God daily, show me what's real. Block what's not. Protect me from premature doors and prepare me for the right one. Heaven answers those prayers swiftly. Your protection is tied to your discernment. Every step you take in alignment sharpens your spirit. Your awareness will heighten. Your clarity will grow. What once seemed foggy will become evident. That is the work of the angels, guiding you gently into perfect timing. The reunion is not far. The signs are near. Pay attention. Heaven is speaking in every whisper. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. Whether you've realized it or not, the healing between your soul and his has already been set in motion. Archangel Michael says the moment you said yes in your spirit, even before your lips spoke a word, heaven began to move. That yes cracked the foundation where bitterness once lived. That yes signaled to the angels that you were no longer just waiting, you were partnering. Healing does not always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it flows in gently like water over stone, softening hard places little by little. That's what's happening now, within you and within him. He may still be silent in the physical, but emotionally he is beginning to awaken. His heart, once shielded by pride and fear, is now being touched by divine intervention. He is thinking of the laughter, the comfort, the sacred stillness he felt with you. He is questioning decisions made in haste. There are moments now when tears come to his eyes for reasons he can't explain. That is the spiritual residue of the love you gave. Heaven is rubbing balm on wounds he tried to forget, and with every drop, the wall between you both begins to crumble. And what about your healing? It's happening too. Slowly but surely. You've been carrying pain for too long, pain that settled into your chest, your breath, even your sleep. But even now, as you read these words, something inside you is softening. The grip is loosening. You no longer need to rehearse the betrayal or the silence or the abandonment. Why? Because Archangel Michael has brought divine closure wrapped inside divine reactivation. The past is not being erased, it is being rewritten. Not with lies, but with light. The truth is rising to the surface. Type I am being healed to get the blessing 9021. You must be willing to let the new version of him arrive. Don't look for the old man who hurt you. Look for the healed man who is now being summoned. You must also allow the new version of you to emerge, stronger, wiser, softer, holier. Forgiveness is no longer just a choice. It is now a spiritual necessity. You cannot walk into the next season carrying yesterday's poison. Release him into God's hands fully, so that God can return him back to you refined. Your healing is not only for your heart, it is for your future generations. Archangel Michael wants you to understand. Your union was never supposed to be ordinary. That's why the warfare around it was so severe. That's why the grief was so heavy. That's why the separation felt like death. Because it wasn't just a breakup. It was the enemy's attempt to abort a destiny connection. But God is rewriting that chapter now. Your healing is the ink. Your surrender is the pen. Your faith is the paper. And heaven is the author. Let the rewriting begin, not with questions, but with trust. Type I am walking into restoration to get blessing 7450. Begin speaking wholeness over yourself and him. Say aloud, I bless his journey. I bless his healing. I bless his return in divine timing. I release myself from shame, and I welcome joy. What once wounded me will now build me. What once broke me will now bless me. Say it until your body believes it. Say it until the atmosphere shifts. The angels will move on those declarations. They will take those words and begin arranging spiritual resources in your favor. They will begin releasing dreams to him filled with peace and truth. The reconnection cannot happen until both souls are healed enough to hold each other rightly. That process has begun, and the more you surrender, the faster it accelerates. This is no longer just a hope. It's a movement. It's divine. It's deliberate. And it's already happening. Stay open. Stay expectant. The healing is holy. This is it. The final stage of divine preparation. Archangel Michael says everything in the spirit realm is now aligned. The angels have been dispatched. The healing has started. The interference has been exposed. And the man who once loved you is waking up, not just to your memory, but to your purpose in his life. The pressure in the spirit is peaking. You are standing in the center of a sacred moment that will not come again in the same way. Heaven is holding its breath, waiting for one thing now, your final yes. This yes is not emotional. It's not soft or fragile. It's the kind of yes that shatters chains and reopens destiny. It's the yes that grants heaven legal access to finish what it started. Archangel Michael declares, this is your final activation moment. You are no longer just a receiver of prophecy. You are now a co-creator in fulfillment. You must rise as the spiritual gatekeeper of this union and make the declaration that shakes the earth and calls this man home, not with desperation, but with divine authority rooted in obedience. This is your pitch moment, your divine crossroads. You've been shown the blueprint, the instruction, the signs, the spiritual warfare, and the assignment. Now God is waiting to see what you'll do with it. If you delay, the shift will pass you. If you move in faith, the gates will open wider than you've ever seen. This isn't just about love. This is about unlocking what your soul has been circling around for years. This is about taking your rightful place as the chosen vessel to steward this reunion, this assignment, this purpose. Type I am saying yes to get the blessing 9,999. Say these words aloud now, and mean them with all your spirit. I say yes to divine timing. I say yes to spiritual authority. I say yes to my prophetic role in this restoration. I say yes to releasing fear and stepping into trust. I say yes to breaking the curse of delay. I say yes to calling forth what God ordained. I say yes to being the key that unlocks the next chapter. And I say yes to the man who once loved me, returning in truth, strength, and surrender. If your spirit trembled as you read that, good. That's how you know it's real. That trembling is your soul confirming alignment. That shaking is your atmosphere shifting. You are not just reading words. You are standing in a spiritual portal, and what you choose now will echo into the next 7 years of your life. Archangel Michael says if you truly embrace this moment, you will begin to see movement faster than you've ever seen. But if you dismiss it as just another message, heaven will shift its resources toward a different path. Not out of punishment, but because God always honors decision. Type I'm unlocking my destiny to get blessing 8,777. This man is about to cross a line in the spirit. The prayers you've prayed, the declarations you've made, and the forgiveness you've released have created a new path for him. But he's still hovering, still feeling the pull, but uncertain whether he's allowed to step forward. He is spiritually waiting for confirmation from you. Your obedience is the green light heaven will use to bring him through the fog. He is standing at the gate. One final act of spiritual boldness from you will push him across the threshold. You don't need to chase. You don't need to convince. You only need to agree. Agree with heaven. Agree with timing. Agree with love that is holy, not desperate. Agree with the assignment. And when you do, the angels will move in full force. They will minister to him directly. They will whisper your name into his dreams. They will release visions, encounters, and confirmations that compel him to act. You must give heaven full permission. And you must trust that God will do it better than your imagination ever could. This is your final instruction. Heaven is waiting. The shift is happening. Slowly at first, like dawn creeping through darkness, but steadily, undeniably. Archangel Michael says the moment you gave heaven your yes, the spiritual realm began aligning with the physical. This is the phase where supernatural meets tangible. Dreams become decisions. Feelings become action. What was once swirling in unseen realms now starts to take shape in your physical reality. You may not hear a knock at the door today, but the steps toward it have begun. The divine clock is ticking differently now, faster, bolder, more precise. This man, who once seemed so distant, is beginning to feel an undeniable internal pull. He's waking up in the middle of the night thinking of you. He's scrolling past faces and wondering why none compare. His heart is burning for something he hasn't even remembered fully yet. But that flame is your spirit calling to his. Archangel Michael has placed angelic messengers around him now. They are pressing in through every crack in his resistance. He's being reminded of how you made him feel, covered, seen, stretched, safe. No matter how long it's been, that kind of love leaves a mark the soul cannot erase. And now, the barrier between memory and motion is thinning. He's starting to second-guess what he once accepted. The lies, the pride, the stories he told himself to justify leaving, those are losing power. What's gaining power is the truth. The subtle yet undeniable knowing that he left something sacred behind. Archangel Michael reveals that heaven is beginning to stir up divine discomfort in him. An itch he can't scratch, a longing he can't name, a flash of your face at the most unexpected time. That's not coincidence. That's divine pursuit. Type I am seeing the shift to get the blessing 7831. You must prepare for this moment with wisdom. When the door opens, and it will, you cannot walk into it as the old version of yourself. The broken Gurian. The scared Gurian. You must walk in as the healed, mature, aligned version that heaven had been refining in fire. This reunion, when it manifests, is not about emotion alone. It's about purpose. If you try to hold it with shaky hands, it will slip through your fingers. But if you hold it with sacred intention, it will anchor deeper than ever before. The next signs will be different. They won't just be spiritual whispers. They'll be physical gestures, a message out of nowhere, a song he shares with no explanation, like on an old vow, a sudden urge in you to send peace his way without needing a response. Do not underestimate these signs. A small is often the doorway to the significant. God speaks loudest through what the world calls ordinary. Be alert. Be humble. Be open. Archangel Michael says, treat every moment like prophecy unfolding. Type I am walking in alignment to get blessing 8164. He may come slowly. He may test the waters, unsure if your heart is still open. Do not expect a grand apology or perfect words. Expect a heart that is scared, but searching. Let him find you grounded. Let him find you glowing. Not because you waited for him, but because you healed for yourself. Let your light be the confirmation he needs. Let your peace be the proof that heaven has kept you. You are no longer who you were when he left. You are the refined version, the restored Gurian. And that version is the one he's being called back to. Heaven has already begun the restoration. You are standing in the overlap now, where what's been seen in the spirit begins to manifest in the natural. And the beauty is, you don't have to force it. You only have to flow. Flow with heaven. Flow with love. Flow with faith. The time is not coming. The time is now. You've reached the final page, but this is only the beginning. Archangel Michael wants you to know, The moment you opened this message, you entered into a new spiritual agreement. What once felt like a lost story has now become a living prophecy. The man who once loved you, whose heart was buried beneath disappointment, confusion, and delay, is no longer blind. The veil is lifting. The pull is increasing. Israel has heard the call, and yours has answered with obedience, faith, and surrender. Heaven has already begun to move pieces on your behalf. Do not doubt the silence. Do not fear the timing. Every breath you take in alignment becomes an invitation for angels to move more freely. Divine restoration rarely begins with noise. It begins with a whisper. Right now, that whisper is growing louder in his spirit. That longing is becoming undeniable. The energy between you is no longer static. It's alive, vibrating with potential, humming with destiny. And as you continue to walk forward in faith, what was once broken will become whole again. This final moment is not just about reunion. It's about fulfillment. You are not simply waiting for a man. You are stepping into the completion of a promise. A love that serves a purpose. A connection that glorifies heaven. A bond that breaks generational curses. You were chosen not only to receive it, but to steward it. And because you have said yes, because you've prayed, forgiven, declared, and aligned, the blessing is already on its way. You may not knock today. You may not text tomorrow. But the decision has already been made in the Spirit. He is returning, not to who you were, but to who you've become. And when he arrives, the peace will be so undeniable, the timing so divine. You will weep not from pain, but from the joy of knowing heaven truly heard you. Hold your ground, guard your heart, and keep watching for the signs. Your miracle is already in motion. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. Type I am ready for divine reunion to get blessing 9777.